Hello, everybody. I just realized that the light is just it's the wrong shade. Hello, everybody. Spirit of 420 here because everything I do is so incredibly shitty. It's just, no, I'm teasing. It's so 420. That's exactly what it is. And this is still, I can hear Epic in the background because I was jamming to some old school, late 80s rock, man. Faith No More. It was it was a new band once they added Mike Patton. Let's just say that completely new band. So I hope everybody's doing well. I missed you last night, so let me go ahead and just say right now I apologize if that's you on the thing, Joe. What up, buddy? I knew it was you. Couldn't make it last night, and what's funny is I went to go do it like 3 times, and then finally it was 11:30. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna stream tonight. I'm just gonna have to call it a day. But you know what I thought about today? I don't mind doing these. And some people will be like, why would you do it if that reminds you of that? Because it's what I was supposed to be doing. Everything happens for a reason. And on Saturday, October 22nd of last year, I streamed on that day. And I was obviously supposed to because I usually, most people who know that I don't stream on even days. I generally stream on odds. What's up, Dirty? How are you doing, man? It is so good to see you, buddy. Love you, man. Thanks for being here. But I generally don't stream on even days. I stream on odd days because I'm an odd son of a bitch. But here we are. There's always the reason for doing it. It's a Saturday, and I'm here. I'm not even at 7:20. I came on at 8:20 because I said, you know what? I'm just gonna get it done. I need to get on there. Awesome. I hope the girls are doing well. Hope all of y'all are doing well. And Dirty, I don't know if any of your kids have any issues like Joe's and Tom's, but I would love, and I'm going to do it for you too, Joe. I meant to tell you, but both of you guys, I want to end up doing a some custom blends for y'all, like we did for um, Tom's daughters, which I'm hoping is working out. But if it matters, the mass consensus that we're getting right now from the community is the custom ones are working absolutely wonderfully and even better than just our regular. So that truly makes me feel good. I shouldn't say it makes me feel good. Let me say that a different way. That allows me to feel incredibly prideful because we are truly helping people. That's just I can't say anymore. I missed it. There it is. Dirty Bird. Oh, finally got the joint lit. Eventually, I'm gonna cut my hair again. I know, and eventually, I'm going to. Um, eventually, I'm going to cut my hair, and eventually, I'm going to shave. I don't know if it's going to be soon. I mean, I really technically we're in November now, and I usually don't shave through this month. So I think it's only fitting, considering this is also the month that I lost my uncle, day before Veterans Day. And by the way, my uncle, I know we have at least one veteran in here. That was his favorite day, man. That was his absolute favorite day of the year. And I still, it blows me away. Everything happens for a reason. And it's amazing that it was his favorite day and he didn't die on it. He died the day before. And there's a part of that to me that's awesome because it didn't take away the beauty of the day that he loved, although would have loved had he been able to leave on his favorite day of the year. So, but everything happens as it's supposed to, and we're all here, right? We're here now, and those that are not are in another place and understand. And it's funny because I look at him as having this. I don't care what is beyond death, right? And I have my beliefs. I'm not going to get into that. What I do know is everybody that's died already has been able to find out before I did. That's all I'm going to say. You know, so I think that it's to me. Didn't mean to go off on this tangent right here, but to me, like, how do I say this? Ignoring death, I had to stop ignoring it. Now, granted, I'm getting older, but in the shortest and simplest of terms, the older you get, the more you start to think about it, and or the older you get, the usually, friends and family and colleagues, people that you know and care about and love, are taken. They leave. It happens. But I think to ignore, hey, what's up, Kira? How are you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. That's one. She got a custom one, and we won't have to talk about that. But she got a custom one and absolutely loves it. Um, One of the funny things that what was I going to say? I'll get it back. So I'm going to look like this, so I'm not looking away. Oh man, it was right there. What's up, New Zealand? I see you too, brother. I love seeing these faces, and it's going to be amazing on just a side note to watch all this grow, because the more people I help and the more people that I connect with, I cannot tell you the overwhelming feeling. Like, it literally today we had some people, shout out to us, and they were so thankful and grateful that just made me feel like I and it really did. It creates a feeling in you that I cannot. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. It creates a feeling in me that I cannot describe. It's one of the best feelings in my life was the day that each of my boys were born, and I held my children, right? Some of the best days I've ever had now have been when people, say, hey, thank you so much for this. This is making my life better. That's all you can ask for when you are the kind of dark dickhead that I was, and now I'm making people's lives better who I don't even know. People I don't even never even met. Oh, well, that's okay. I will still consider you to be fresh. Don't worry about that. Exciting. It's so exciting to me. Yeah, no, I had to go off on that for a minute. Right? Thank you, Dirty. So, um, I'll tell you one of the things that it's funny enough, because this was actually Dirty. This was like the first, just a quick story. This was in the first. What's up, Zens? What's up, Slippery? Um, Probably the first, I want to say, 3 months of me doing this, and Dirty and I started talking, but I don't even think he'd been on the show yet. We were only talking about it, or maybe he had already been on the show, whatever it was. But he took a picture and he did this fucking post on Twitter that I absolutely loved, where he took a picture of his garden, right? And it had me in the background playing on the TV on his like 25-inch or whatever the hell it was. And I was like, that's fucking cool as shit, man. I know it's only YouTube and all that, but the fact that somebody even wanted to have me up while they were messing with their fucking plants and their tents, man, that made me feel so awesome. And I'll never forget that, Dirty, just so you know. It was the first time I had seen that for me, you know. So it was fucking awesome. I think I still have that. I'm pretty sure I what do you call it, pinned or saved that. Yeah, I know it was a picture of your man cave, but I'm pretty sure what is it, bookmarked. There we go. Pretty sure I bookmarked it. How have you been, Zens? Gonna have to get you back on the show here soon, man. It's time for another existential Zens conversation. If you have there we go, an existential. I like that even better. Existential conversation. It's time for one of those, Zens, and we'll have it at your place, sir. What a day, what a day. What are we going to talk about? Oh, hold on. Let's see. Yes, I know that you love yours, Joe. I absolutely know that. For it ain't ready. It ain't ready. I am fully aware of your man cave. You have got, I love your I don't know. I guess you call it a display case. Is that, I guess, I don't know for a better word, but I love your display case of all your favorite stoner stuff. I mean, like, it's more than just, it's all your stoner stuff. So, what to talk about today? I was going to keep it short. I will tell you that because I do have family and friends, other fellow employees. I know it's 8:30 at night, but we actually are. We gotta. When you have a home-based business, you work a lot of time. There's a lot of times that you work that you would normally be willing to work, right? But you got to get the job done. Uh-oh, who else is in here? What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you in here. Yeah, and look at this. He even threw out. He gave you both. What up to me and what up to the chats. Um. So I'm trying to think of what I want to talk about. First of all, I want to tell everybody this. I had a great fucking day. Y'all need to know this. Just aside from everything else, half the people in here will absolutely, maybe all of you in here will absolutely love to know what I did today. But I went out with my son, who was, he's one of the ones that is not blood, but has become a son to me. And he was also Sky's best friend. And this is something they used to do. But I just have a 12 gauge, but we went out shooting, went out to the outdoor range today, and it was a fucking blast. He had his 9mm plus his 10 mil, and I had my 12 gauge, and we went out there and it was a blast, man. I hadn't been shooting. I had not gone to shoot since 2012, maybe 2013, because I had a bunch of guns that I collected up until 2012 because I was like a lot of people and I thought the world was going to end. And then when it didn't, I kept, I started selling them off, but I was still, as much as I could, I would try to go out and shoot when I could, because it's fun. It's a blast. It doesn't even matter. Here's the thing. People think that it's some kind of masculine thing. I don't think it's a masculine thing so much as it just feels good to shoot a gun at a target and try to hit it like that. Just in and of itself, there is a release of aggression. So I don't feel like it's masculine so much as a release of aggression that, when you're having that kind of day. Hold on, I got to read this. Mr. Love, keep up the fantastic work. Love you, sweetie. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. You know I do. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe. I feel it too. But anyway, what was cool is we actually went to a range where we could shoot both shotguns. It was outdoor, and you could do both shotguns as well as pistols. I hadn't shot in forever, man. And my first lineup out of 15 shots, just to give you, I was pretty proud of this, but I put 2 in the center. And then I had with the next 2 lines out, there was probably 6 or 7, maybe as many as 8 there. I brought that target home because I was like, oh, you know what? Considering I hadn't shot a gun in essentially 10 years, it's pretty fucking good, man. Especially I'm shaky hand McGee now, just so you know. What's up, Tom? How you doing, man? Yes. I don't know how to say it, but there is something that helps you. It helps you focus, and it's because all you're doing is lining up the dots and your target, right? Like it's a straight basic concept that is, at our basics of life. The only difference is I'm not shooting at prey or an enemy, and thank God for that, because I don't want to have to hunt my food, nor do I have to want to kill my brothers. But when you're out there and you're shooting, it's a focus thing, But of course, I'll say this. I can get very much the same type of focus, quite frankly, if I'm washing dishes. Again, because it's a repetitive action and I don't have to think about it. You start shooting and you really don't have to think about what you're doing. The only thing you have to think about is gun safety, right? Like, don't point the gun anywhere and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much, to me, that's it. So we went out there. That was quite a blast. And I guess, what I want to talk about a little bit is because I try to keep you folks, my I don't want to say my fans, my support crew. I think that's better. Because in many ways, that's exactly, I couldn't have picked a better term, because that's exactly what y'all have become, my support crew, right? So in my journey as of late, I've shared with most of y'all that I have started a paranormal investigation team. And I've started a home-based business, right? Well, one of the things that happened is an individual who answered both ads, or I should say answered one ad and then found out about the other, is very keen on, he's extremely intelligent, extremely gifted when it comes to like feeling energy and investigating the other side. Like he not in a bad way, but he hears voices, right? Again, not in like not the schizophrenic way, guys. And we share a lot of the same things. We have some of the same blood. I've met very few people in my life who have Cherokee Blackfoot, right? And he has Cherokee Blackfoot. Well, he reminds me of me as well in many ways. One of the biggest is one of the first things I saw in him. And what's funny is this is at a time, right? I don't know how else to say it, when I feel like even though I'm doing all this and everybody tells me, and just hear me out, everybody tells me how impressed they are, how good I'm doing. And this, even when I say everybody, I'm not talking about just you folks, my therapist, my doctor, because I have gone through a hell of a year and I ended up getting a mental health therapist as well as getting a psychiatrist who could feed me something, which currently is Lexapro. I don't even like taking pills, so that must tell you how. Obviously, I had to get pretty desperate if I started taking pills again. Okay. But the point is, as much as everybody tells me how good I'm doing, and there's some of you in here know exactly what I'm talking about and when I'm talking about it, I still feel like I'm floundering and not doing what I need to. And in fact, in many ways, I am. My home right now, God love me, right? If a fire marshal came in here, they would have a field day. They would have an absolute, and it's not trash. I have just collected a mass of shit just between Pack Rat and somebody who shops. Like the way I shop is like most people do crack. When I'm having, as long as I'm making plenty of money and everything's good, or I have plenty of money, even if I don't have a job, I shop. It's just a fucking addiction. I have finally tried to get it somewhat under control, but it still is what it is. So I just have a ton of material shit that I don't even fucking care about. Part of the reason I'm saying this is because I'm going to start selling the shit. I have to get rid of it. But I'm sitting on my ass. I'm not selling it. So I use that tiny little fact that I gave you to beat the shit out of myself, right? And it may sound small and insignificant, but what happens in here, there's twofold. There's a conscious side and a subconscious side. The conscious side literally thinks about, hey, you should be doing this. And then, how I say, rationalization kicks in like a shotgun. And I rationalize the hell of it on a conscious level. But on a subconscious level, I can tell you, and I know people argue subconscious. I don't. I have seen it to be the proof, right? And what I mean by that is I have seen my own subconscious work against me. I've seen others. But that's what the subconscious tends to do because it has its own agenda. It has its own agenda. So, short story long, I ended up meeting this guy a few months ago, and I saw a lot of me in him. And he has managed to hold himself together, but he was doing it just by the skin of his teeth. And, part of it was me because I was trying to get this company where he could sell it and make money. But it's just, you can't just let people go start selling stuff if you don't have everything set up on the back end and the infrastructure prepared to handle the deals, right? So part of that has been on me, and part of that has also been on him. And what I mean by that is he still could go out and do it, but I didn't want to push him because I don't want to hurt his I don't want to hurt his conscious self-worth. He already on a very consistent basis puts himself down and says things so that you laugh at him, but not. There's a difference, as I tell people, between laughing at something you did and laughing at you because your funniness. Like, for instance, Louis Anderson. Do y'all remember Louis Anderson? He was a comedian that spent much of his time up top putting himself down so the crowd would laugh, right? There's a difference between the way that this guy does it, for instance. And it's funny because I just mentioned him today, and I know some of y'all will know this guy. But one of my favorite comedians is right here in Denver, and his name is Josh Blue. The first time I saw him was down in, because I didn't actually see him, but apparently he was on, just real quick, I'll say this, he was on Last Comic Standing. But the first time that I saw him was back in, I think it was 08 or 09. I can't remember the exact year. And it was in Clearwater, and he was fucking hysterical. And people were laughing at him, but not because he was downing himself. And I know this is y'all are gonna say, really, because it was a fine line. He has some kind of cerebral palsy or something where, like, he can't stop his hand from gripping, and like, for instance, he'll come out on the stage with a pair of scissors, wrapped in his hand, and he's like, this wasn't part of the act. I honestly don't know sometimes if he's being serious or not, but it's funny. But it's not because he's dumb, right? And the funny thing is, he looks at his sickness, like his disease, he has turned that sickness, that disease, if you will, into an absolute gift. And he's okay at picking at what the sickness does to him, but not because he's dumb or worthless or not good enough. Does that make sense? One of the things that and Joe, I know that you'll be right there with me, but one of the things that I think not just myself, but Joe and many others really have an issue with is if you're a good person and someone's telling you that, but you keep voicing that you're not, right? You keep repeatedly saying things like, I'm not that good. I don't understand why you like me, or I don't understand why, what. At some point you have to realize, hey, if you weren't good enough, nobody would put the attention into you. And I say this because each and every one of us, the one thing I've learned is that every time I'm doing this show, I'm doing it because somebody needs to hear and see one of the little things that I'm saying, right? If somebody sees enough in you to tell you they love you and to tell you they care about you, then it is high time you get off of your ass and know that you're worth loving and caring about. So you have a little adage, and everybody knows this little adage: if you have nothing nice to say, then you don't say anything at all. And the funny thing is, I told him, I was like, you really have to take this to heart, to not just other people, but yourself first and foremost. Because once you stop saying little things, even if they're funny, but once you stop saying little things and doing little things to down yourself, you will start to feel better about yourself without someone else having to tell you. Never. You're funny, dude. I love you. You get out here, go have fun with your friends, and I'll probably end up talking to you tomorrow. I have so much news I want to share with you. It's ridiculous. And Tom, if you're in here, we have got to talk. I pray that you're girls, but we'll talk about that later. I'll finish this. So what I will say, just real quick, because this guy he's a beautiful soul. Truly is. He's like, I mean, he's literally your big classic teddy bear, right? I will, dude. You stay lifted too, brother. He is your big classic teddy bear, and he only wants to do well, but he doesn't love himself. So I finally had to take it upon myself, and I was like, and to give you an idea, these things I could see because of the people he was hanging out with, the things that he was letting them do to him, and I should say, let me say it a better way, the things that he was allowing himself to do and allowing himself to be manipulated, because I truly believe that some of those times he was onto it, but I've been there before where you're so down on yourself, you will let someone take advantage of you because at least they're there, right? At least they're there, and you have company for the night, right? But if you're in here right now, and if you're anybody on this planet for that matter, but if you're in here right now, just know this: you are more important than that. You are incredibly important. You do matter. You are not a grain of sand on a beach. You have purpose, and already somewhere in your life, you're giving somebody a better moment by just being you. And that should be enough for you. Some days, that should be all you need to get through the day. I didn't say every day, I said some days, right? And if somebody says, I love you, would you consider, how do I say it? I love you. Please love yourself. Then start to try to do that. Look, man, these are actions that have to be repeated. So I'm the first one to say and to realize it takes time. I'm 51 and I still fuck up on a daily basis. I'm not just saying that. You guys see me on here for 30, 45, maybe an hour. That's not even a fucking tenth of the day, man. Believe me, I always fuck up. I end up yelling at my friend, yelling, like getting really upset and passionate because I want him to change. And he just kind of looks at me sometimes like, and then I'm realizing, what, then I'm doing it. Guess what happens? Then it gets stupid because I'm yelling at him. So he's feeling bad, but then I'm feeling bad for yelling at him. You see how these things work? It's why staying positive is so important. And you, instead of fussing at someone for what they're not doing, what you want to do is enforce what they should be doing and enforce what you should be doing. Hence, leaving those times where you talk about yourself down or talk down about yourself, right? Leave those away, let go of them, and spend more time saying literally affirmations. I'm going to do this. One of the things I've talked about too, and this is a fact, try not to get caught up in let me say that differently. Do not make the classic mistake of saying, God, I want this, or universe, I want this, or God, please help me try to do this. If you, in your head, your affirmation is, I want something. If in your head, if your affirmation is, I want something, then, or how do I say this? Let me start over. If there is something that you're trying to change, then you, rather than tell them what they're doing wrong, say what they need to do differently and enforce it, right? So the reality is you get away from things like don't do this and don't do that, and you also get away from trying or this and wanting that. Because when you say, I want this or I try to do that, then you end up getting the want and the try for it. If you say don't do something, then you end up doing the very thing that you say don't do. Does that make sense? It's an affirmation, and it's an understanding of the psychological, the psyche. By the way, who was it? I think it was Colorado Crew. If you end up watching this, man, thank you so much. I hope that we can talk because I'm telling you, there was a time. I don't know if anybody saw the show the other night, but we were talking about prescription drugs in Big Farm. There was absolutely. I am not crazy. I've talked to several people. I've talked to a lady just today again who's about my age, and she absolutely remembers. And this pisses me off because to me it was appropriate. 1 year was appropriate. That has changed. The Big Farm now, when they put out a new medication, they have the lockdown on it, name brand, for 20 years. Are you kidding me? That is so fucking wrong, man. That is so wrong. And the reason I say that is because you make so much money in the first year, And what's really sad, I don't care how much they put in. And by the way, the cost of one of these too, he gave me some other good education. It is a minimum $1 billion to create a new drug. Like that's the starting point of how much capital you need to raise in order to create a new drug, right? First of all, you're going to make that back in the first year. No bullshit. And secondly, you're going to make it back, how do I say, when you yourself create the generic brand. This happens every day. The same people that are making the name brand also make the generic brand, and then they sell it to other people who say that it's just a long thing. It's no different. And the fact that they get 20 years, somebody voted that in that didn't care about people. That's all I have to say, because that is so. Later's in. I don't know if you're saying goodbye. I have bad eyes. When you think about the amount of money that these companies make off of these meds, it really is. It's sickening. And to think that they get 20 years, I'm sorry, I just had to come back to this, but to think that they get 20 years of that is appalling. That's all I'll say. So know that I'm appalled, and I know that somebody in the big pharma industry is going to lose sleep over that tonight. I know it, just so you know. And they're going to start working on a new drug tomorrow, something else. They'll probably create a new opiate, right? Why not? Like, we don't have enough out there. Let's create a new one. So anywho, folks, I love all of you. Have a wonderful, blessed evening. I will be back Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday. So I was just looking at my calendar to make sure that I'm saying it right, because today's Sunday is the 5th. Monday is the 6th. I'll be back Tuesday the 7th with probably some interesting news, but we'll see. Who knows? If it's not interesting, then you can fire me. So, anyway, I love all of you guys. You're a badass too, man. Oh, I thought that said I thought that said take care, badass. You're a badass anyway. I don't care. It doesn't even matter. You're a badass. So take care of yourselves, badasses, all of you. And I hope that all of you have a wonderful beginning to your week. Monday, for a lot of people, is a really bad day. I get it. Instead of going into it thinking how bad Monday usually is, think to yourself, what are you going to do Monday to make it a better and different day? And then repeat that affirmation to yourself throughout the day and make it happen. I promise it works. I've been doing this for a while now, and I am happier than I've ever been. I'm not well shaved, and I have crazy hair, but I'm happier than I've ever been, and that even comes on top of losing a son. And there's a lot to be said there. I will admit, I'm also more depressed than I've ever been, and that's a real crazy weight that I'm dealing with right now, but that's my own bullshit. Know that at the core of me, I am happy. If I wasn't happy, I know it was funny, wasn't it? If I wasn't happy, I wouldn't be here right now. That's all I can tell you. I wouldn't be doing this, and I wouldn't be, preaching the way I do. That wouldn't even be the case. I would be, because I remember what it was like to not love me and not care about me, and I just sat and let everything turn to shit. I watched it happen. Last time I did that was 2016. Sky was still alive, but he watched, and he and I promised that we wouldn't let each other go there. So that's not a coincidence. Anyway, I love all you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Tuesday, the 7th, as I said. I don't know what time, but I'll be on here sometime. Take care of all yourselves. Don't worry about taking care of me. I'm going to do that. I also got a family looking out for me. So go hang out with your family tomorrow. Sunday is a great day to do that. Not just because it's God Day, but because most people don't do anything on that day. So go see family. Go give them a hug. Go tell them that you love them. I love all you guys. Have a beautiful weekend. Peace.
I switch here. I'm a strange fuck. Consistent ain't something I could say well. Throw my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish your day a swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.